Hey, welcome back. So, will it float? That is the question. I know that the Ditch Witch, made here in Oklahoma, uses the same Italian Bondioli and Pavesi pumps that this machine has from China. So that's pretty cool, right? I guess they trust that pump brand enough that they've put them in their machines, and Ditch Witches are really well-known machines, and they charge a pretty penny for them. So, nevertheless, that was pretty exciting information to see. Um, as I take you through this machine, you'll see the control valve is a little bit unique compared to some of the ones you'll find like from Summit Hydraulics. This has a right side pump input. So the pump input's on this side of the control valve, the tank is on this side of the control valve, and the reason why that's interesting is that all of the connections are on the front side of the machine, not the back side, and there's a welded firewall in here right above the radiator that stops you from being able to take it and turn it around. There's no way for those hose connections to work. But does it float? That is the question that has come up. If you look at the Kymron website, it says nothing about float on these machines. I am happy to say that one of the distributors for Kymron machines, I think it's Parsley Equipment, does on their YouTube, on their Facebook page, has a video showing it floating. So here's how the float, right? So when you go forward, your boom goes down and you're at a stop. When you push further, now you have engaged the float on the arms. Now I have not done this, and we're about to try it and see if this thing floats, because I've got to move some sand and for a pool that we're going to put up behind the house. So I am going to try and level this out. We're going to see if it floats. Come along. I want to show you a little bit about the hydraulic pumps that they have in this machine. They are an Italian company called Bondioli and Pavesi, if I'm saying that correct, and I may not be. Anyway, there are two piston-driven pumps for your drive wheels. This first pump right here is for the left side, if you're facing forward, left side drive wheel. The second pump here is for the right side drive wheel. And then here in the front, you have a gear-driven pump that power all your hydraulics, your boom, lift, and everything. So now, doing research on this, I was able to find all the information on these pumps on the manufacturer's website, not Kymron, on the pump manufacturer's website. So it even goes down with the number on those pumps. It tells you everything, even the fact that it should be painted black, which they are. So that's really good. What's unique about these pumps, this brand of pump, is that they're also used on Ditch Witch machines. So if you go out and do some searches here on YouTube for SK1550 pump rebuild, you will see that it uses the same brand of pump. Now, it's not the same pump, right? So it has different displacement, different flow rates. That SK1550, I think, has a Yanmar 37 horsepower power plant in it. So they're not the same pump. They're the same manufacturer's pump. So that gives me a little bit of comfort that Ditch Witch is using this pump. There's also a video of a gentleman who's repairing an SK800. And when he pulls the pump out, his problem is that it creeps forward without your hand on the controls, and you don't have reverse. And so he does a tear down of the pump and shows you the swash plate. I think I said that right, or squash plate, I don't know. Anyway, shows you how that operates, and the spring that basically changes the flow of the fuel from your, or the oil from your pilot controls. So those are really good videos, but what that did for me is it told me that Ditch Witch uses this same brand of pump. What's ironic about that is I went to a local hydraulic shop trying to learn more about the hydraulics of this machine, showed them a photo of the pump manufacturer, and like, yeah, I don't know that pump brand. That kind of worried me a little bit, but then I realized that they sell Parker pumps. So if it's not Parker, It just really doesn't exist in their eyes. They were nice, they were kind, they were helpful, but they didn't recognize this brand of pump, but they definitely knew a Parker pump. Anyway, I digress. So the SK800 by Ditch Witch also has a 24.8 horsepower Kubota engine in it. I don't know if it's the D1105 or not. I didn't look that far. I could probably find it. But nevertheless, it has a gear-driven pump by Bondioli Pavesi. It has two piston-driven pumps for the drive wheels. And so that's really comforting to know that Ditch Witch, made here in Oklahoma, uses the same basic drive system that this machine does. So anyway, let me take you over here and I'm going to show you the uniqueness of the monoblock M45 valve system. Okay, so here we are. We are looking at the monoblock valve system, and I'm going to try and use this and get in here. So a couple of things hopefully you can see here. So what's unique about this monoblock is it has a right side pump input. So if you go to look for a replacement block, and trust me, I have, all of them have left side pump inputs, and this is your pump input. I'm trying to get my finger here. This is your pump input right here. And if you look up and maybe can look down, you might see a P for pump in there. Now, spool 1 is just a standard spool. That is your tilt cylinder, left and right. Spool 2 does have free float, but it does not have a detent that holds it. You will fill the detent, but it won't hold the joystick forward. When you let your hand off, it will spring back. So it's really not a detent. I guess it's more of a gate. And then your auxiliary spool here is, again, just a standard spool as best I can tell. Now, I haven't taken this out, but it is clearly marked. You can't see it probably with the light, but M45/3. The manufacturer is a China manufacturer called North Machine. Upside down right there. I have seen videos of other Chinese mini skid steers, and they too use a North Machine valve body. So it's probably pretty prevalent in China. Trying to find something in America is next to impossible. Now, there is a company, and ironically enough, their American corporate office is local to Northeast Oklahoma. Walvoil, W-A-L-V-O-I-L, Walvoil. Walvoil allows you to spec your M45 monoblock, and you can get a right side input pump. So if I need to buy a valve, I'm going to have one from them. Summit Hydraulics does not. I haven't called them to ask, but coming out from the tank comes up here to this. Come back here, sorry. Coming out from the tank comes up here to a T that goes into the yellow return filter. Now I'm going to assume that is probably a little more pressure on the return, but that is how that valve works. If you look at other mini skid steers, and if you can find photos of them, you'll notice the valves are turned around where they come in on the left side, and all that piping is on the other side of the radiator. So it's on the back side. So this is what the back side looks like. Sorry, I don't have a lot of, oh my gosh, my light's messing up. Anyway, it's what the back side of it looks like. There's nothing there, but the other manufacturers will use the back side for their valve bodies. Not Kymron or the Chinese manufacturer of the Kymron. They use a right side input, and basically it's a reverse valve body from what you will find in mainstream availability. Will it float? Yep, it'll float. That was embarrassing operating on my part. So it does float, but I don't know what to expect because it's the first float valve I've ever had on a machine. My tractor doesn't have one. So here's what I can tell you. If the bucket is completely flat and you back up, it'll float perfectly fine. If the bucket's angled down, if you dump it down so you can kind of float the edge to give a tight one. Yeah, you heard the machine. It almost bogged the machine down and killed it. So that didn't work. So will it float? Yes, it'll float. Can a better operator maybe do better? More than likely. I'll keep practicing, I'll keep trying, but it does float. Hydraulics on this thing seem to be good. So hydraulics work. Everything's checking out good. I am so happy. If you have any questions, let me know. Put them in the comments. Give me a thumbs up, comments, subscribe, anything. Let me know what you want to see, and I'll keep working on that. Nevertheless, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks so much. Goodbye.